everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, my name is Griselda. As you guys saw by the title of this video, I am going to be talking to you guys about how I maintain my foundation on a hot summer day, because you guys know LA weather has been unbearable. It's been so hot, so humid, and just really just like gross, you know? And sometimes you just don't want to put any foundation on because you're gonna melt it off. I've gone to events lately and I've like had sweat just going down my back, and it's not cute, but my foundation stays intact. In this video, I will cover every single step that I take to make sure that that doesn't happen. So if you want to see how I get a full coverage, waterproof, sweat-proof makeup look, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you get notified every single time I upload. And without further ado, let's get started with this video. Okay, so we are gonna get started. So the number one question that I get asked during summer is, how do I make my foundation last? Most people are either oily or they sweat a lot, and I struggle with both of those issues because I am very oily during summer and I sweat a lot during summer as well. So I'm going to be showing you guys the steps that I take to prevent that from happening throughout the day. I know that I spoke to you guys about this in my previous videos, how important it is to prep your skin before you do your foundation, because if you don't prep your skin with the proper products, your skin is just not going to look like how you want it, which is super smooth, flawless, and also long lasting. So first I'm going to be using the Balance Force Oil Control Toner. So because I am oily only in the T-zone area, that's the area where I'm going to concentrate this toner. So that's the first thing. I have a clean face. I don't have any products. I don't have moisturizer. I just washed my face. So I'm going to grab a cotton pad and I'm just going to apply a good amount of that on the cotton pad, and we're just going to apply it in those areas that I know I get super oily. Don't mind this. We're going to talk about this in another video, and I'm going to have a special guest for that because there is a story behind this. It was a murder scene. You are going to feel a tingling sensation, which is 100% normal. I usually just let that sit just for a few seconds before I moisturize. So for moisturizer, I'm going to be using the all-in-one egg Mellow Cream by Too Cool for School. And this moisturizer, I like it because it's really firming. Even though I do have oily skin, I always like to moisturize my skin. It doesn't necessarily have to be with like an oil control lotion, because I am using various products that are for oily skin. I kind of want to make sure that the moisturizer is not oil control either. It's still kind of bringing some type of moisture to my skin. So moving on to primer, I'm going to be using this Urban Decay Urban Defense Complexion Primer. I spoke to you guys about this in my last video and I absolutely fell in love with it, not only because it definitely smoothed out my skin, but it also has SPF, and it's very hard to find a primer that has SPF. We're just going to do one pump all over the face, and we're just going to concentrate it in those areas where you know you have the largest pores but also needs that SPF protection. So I'm just gonna focus that in the center of my face and my forehead. I don't always mention this, but I do always apply a under eye cream under my eyes because I am using a lot of product and I'm also setting, so I don't want my under eyes to also look super dry. So I'm gonna go in with this Tatcha Ageless Revitalizing under eye cream, which is one of my favorite under eye creams because it just makes my under eyes feel super hydrated and plump. And I use this twice a day, once at night and once in the morning, or right before I apply it. If I know I'm gonna be applying my makeup, then I just wait and I apply my under eye cream then. Usually what I like to do is I like to prep my skin and then do my eyes after, but as you guys saw, I already have my eyes. So I'm just gonna wait about 3 to 4 minutes to let everything just kind of settle into my skin. So we're just gonna let that sit and we are going to be right back. So moving on to the foundation, I know that a lot of people always just struggle with finding a good foundation for the summer, especially that is waterproof, sweat proof, long lasting, full coverage. Like, to me, that's super important because I know that I'm going to sweat off my makeup if I don't have a good foundation. So for foundation, I'm going to be using the All Nighter foundation by Urban Decay. This has proven me that I can go in the water and my face will be intact. I've done it before where I've been in a pool and I've been splashed, I've had to been underwater, and this foundation does not move. I love this foundation not only because it's waterproof, it's long lasting, it's full coverage, and if I do sweat, because I still sweat throughout the day, if I pat with a napkin, the foundation is still intact. All I do is remove the sweat. I don't remove the actual foundation. The All Nighter and the Lock It foundation by Kat Von D is also really, really great. I actually haven't put this to the test underwater or being splashed with water, so I can't really say that this is gonna work because I personally haven't tested it out, but I definitely have tested out the All Nighter, and this foundation will be your go-to foundation when you know you're going to be out and about and you're going to sweat and you just don't want your makeup to get ruined. This foundation is going to be it. So right now, because I am a little tan, I'm going to be using the shade 8.0. So I'm going to start off by applying just 2 pumps of that, which looks like this, and I'm going to be applying it with a damp beauty blender. And by the way, you guys, I don't know if they did anything different with this beauty blender opposed to the pink, the nude, and the black one, but I love how my foundation looks. Well, when I apply a liquid foundation, I should say. When I use the blue beauty blender, I absolutely love it. It just makes my skin look so flawless and beautiful. So now we're just going to apply the foundation. And you guys can see I'm already kind of sweating around here, and I usually don't remove my sweat because I mean it's still gonna come back, but it does not interrupt the foundation at all. So this is definitely like my holy grail because it's a full coverage foundation and it just does not budge. It just like stays on your skin. And most of the time when I do use a foundation that's not waterproof or sweat proof, right here in this area my foundation just automatically starts breaking down because I start sweating. You guys, I have the AC on, I have lights, like I'm already sweating, and this foundation just works wonders for me and I absolutely love it. I remember one time I left my touch-up powder in the car when I went to an event and it was like so hot, and all I had to do is just grab a tissue and like remove my sweat, and my foundation was just perfectly still on my skin. And that's when I realized this is gonna be my new favorite foundation for the summer. I try not to use this foundation so much in the winter because it is like a super matte foundation, and sometimes throughout the winter I can get a little dry, but not so much, and I don't want my skin to look really dry. So for concealer, I'm going to be using my Tarte Shape Tape concealer in the shade Light Medium. This is a full coverage concealer, and I love using this concealer because it doesn't crease even if it is a hot summer day. After I set it, it just doesn't budge, it just stays there. So this is one of my favorite concealers to use, especially if I'm doing like a full coverage foundation or a full coverage look. I just like to apply this right on top, and I apply a generous amount because I just like the way that it makes my under eyes look. It just gives me like a super flawless look under the eyes. And I'm just gonna go in with that beauty blender. And also, even if I do apply a generous amount, the beauty blender does pick up a lot of the product, so that's the reason why I also like to put a generous amount, because a lot of the product does stay on the beauty blender. And I'm using a really light concealer because I realized that when I do set it with a powder, my concealer tones down maybe like 2 shades darker. So I like to use a really light concealer so I can still see the brightness under my eyes. You guys see right here, I'm like sweating a little bit, and I just go in with my beauty blender and nothing happens. I do carry a beauty blender with me just to kind of like dab if I do have any sweat just like coming through. Because I still sweat, the foundation doesn't stop me from sweating. It doesn't interrupt the foundation. To set under my eyes, I'm going to be using this Marc Jacobs Finish Line Perfecting Coconut setting powder, and again, I used this in my last video and I really liked how it set my under eyes. So what I like to do is I like to bounce the powder right in the inner corner, and I try not to bring it all the way out because it does add a little texture, especially if you do have texture in this area. So I just like to keep it right here, and also setting those areas where you do sweat a lot also helps. So I like to just like set everything around my nose, on top of my lip, just to make sure that everything is secured. With this foundation, you necessarily don't have to set your whole face because it is a super matte foundation. But I am gonna go in with a loose powder just to kind of set everything. And for that, I'm gonna be using the NARS Soft Velvet Loose Powder. And this is in the shade Mountain. I'm just gonna grab a fluffy brush. This is a Too Faced Perfecting Powder Brush, and I'm just going to grab that and just kind of like press in a little bit of that powder. I'm basically just using whatever extra I had on the cap because I don't want to put too much powder, and just kind of press everything in. To warm up my skin, I'm going to be using this Aaliyah Baby Girl Bronzing Powder by MAC. And I'm just gonna use this 140S brush by MAC as well. Also, setting the foundation kind of helps the bronzer to just kind of glide on a lot smoother. I always stay away from any cream products when I know I'm gonna be out in the sun because a cream product is just gonna melt a lot easier than a powder, obviously. To contour a little bit, I'm gonna pick up this Studio Fix powder by MAC in the shade NW45, and I'm still gonna pick up that same brush. This powder is a little deeper. I just want to deepen the contour just to add a little bit more definition. So I'm just gonna focus that like right underneath my cheekbones. And this is just gonna make me look like I lost 10 pounds, but I really didn't because I love to eat. But I have been going to the gym and I go almost every day and it has been helping. I love to run. That's like one of my favorite things to do when I go to the gym. I just jump on the treadmill, pop some headphones on and put some ratchet music on, and then it just gets me in the mood. It just gets me going, you know? We're gonna grab that powder from Marc Jacobs. We're gonna just kind of set right under here. You guys already know the drill. You guys already know the drill. And then we're just gonna go over here one more time. While that settles in, I am going to, I'm just grabbing a fluffy brush and then just going down the bridge of my nose. It's just kind of slim down just a little bit. And then again, we're gonna go and just match this nose. Whoa, that's a lot of powder. We're just gonna leave that there for like 2 seconds. Now I'm gonna grab that powder brush and just gonna buff everything out. So now we're just gonna dust off the powder on the nose. I'm gonna pick up Orgasm by NARS and just apply a little bit of that on the apples of the cheeks. So I went ahead and I finished the rest of my makeup. Now I'm going to grab Fix Plus by MAC and I'm just gonna spray my whole skin. This is not a setting spray, this is actually a hydration mist. But the reason why I like to use this because it has glycerin, and glycerin is a humectant, if you guys didn't know. It actually helps compact your makeup in place. It doesn't move, it doesn't budge. So I love spraying this after all of my makeup applications. I just love how it takes away that powdery finish look, but it doesn't give me a super dewy finish, which I love because I am trying to kind of stay away from that dewy finish when it is super, super hot, because at the end of the day, you end up looking like a grease ball, and that's the look that you don't want. We're just gonna spray ourselves with this one time. And I just love to fan it right after, just so I can just soak in and just adhere to my skin, and it just gives me like a really nice, almost like a really glowy finish, but it doesn't make me look dewy. As you guys can see, now that it's dry, it still looks really matte and glowy at the same time. So let me know what your thoughts are in this video in the comments down below. I hope this video was super helpful for you guys, and you guys are able to just rock a full coverage foundation in the summertime without feeling like you're melting off. So let me know what your thoughts are again in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.